Morning. My apologies again for yesterday. I wasn't able to upload the videos. Thank you for your patience. Before we move away from chapter one, there are a few things I want to mention. Your text mentions or talks about the special qualities of theater. These are the qualities of theater, the aspects of theater that set it apart from different art forms. Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, said that theater or drama is a representation of human beings in action. The most important word there is action, because action is more than physical movement. It is a thought process. Something motivates you to move. So consider that. Working together, that is what creates drama. Um, When we talk about the special qualities of theater, we have to recognize that these qualities can also apply to other art forms, but having them all together is what makes this unique, theater unique in this way. The first quality of theater is that it is lifelike. We just said that Aristotle said that drama is a representation of human beings in action. When we see theater on stage, we recognize what the people are doing because we can identify with it. Second, theater is ephemeral. The ephemerality of theater is that it happens and then it's over. Consider a piece of visual art, a painting or a sculpture. You will have that with you for centuries if you protect it. Look at the works of art from ancient Greece and before. These things have been with us for centuries. But when we discuss theater, there is no real record of a live performance. So once it happens, it's gone. Third, we have objectivity. This speaks to the inner and outer process of a character, motivation, working toward a goal or an objective, and then the physical action. How is that put into practice? Number four, a complexity of means. This kind of speaks to the assembling of the story. With a play, you have actors playing characters who are dressed in costumes, who are moving around a set that is created under lights, accompanied by music. That's a collection, a collaboration, a complexity of means, all of these things working together. And finally, the special quality of theater that sets it apart from other art forms, immediacy. When we see theater, it's happening right there, right in front of us, right? So there's a sense that as an audience member, you are present, you are in on the action. Excuse me. This wasn't on the guide, but this is something to consider. Art and value. Theater is a performing art. It is living art. It is live, as is dance. That's active. It's going on right in front of us. Sometimes we make the distinction between fine art and useful art or practical art and crafts and things like that. I have heard people refer to acting as a craft. However, it is a practice. It is something that can be studied. When we talk about value in art, we have to consider ourselves and our own perspective, point of view, our aesthetic. What makes the art appeal to us? And that is based on our experiences, our collected, influences throughout our lives. What do we like? And how did we learn about this type of art? We recognize it in other things. I say all this to say, if you like it, it's art. There are guidelines, there are rules, and there are things that will tell you that that's not art. This is art. However, just like beauty, it's in the eye of the beholder. I cannot tell you that a painting that you have hanging in your home is unattractive or not good because it's hanging in your home because you like it. It appeals to you. So consider that. That's responding to your own preferences, your aesthetic. Now, moving on to chapter 2, the audience and criticism, the three important things that we stress and want you to remember: understanding, effectiveness, and ultimate worth. I'm sorry, I'm checking the time. I don't want to go over. Understanding, effectiveness, and ultimate worth. Very simple. Is it clear? Did it work? And was it worth the money? Consider all of these as you become a critic and you start critiquing your work or the work of someone. Uh, Number 3, chapter 3, rather, takes us to the play, the starting point. Reading a play is very different from reading a book or a graphic novel. However, if you consider that the way the information comes to us in a play, in the written text of a play, it's through dialogue. Graphic novels do the same thing. But in theater, we have, instead of the visuals with the action, we have things within the text that will give us information. First of all, stage directions. When you start reading a script, the text of a script, I'm sure you've already done this, there will always be an italicized section that tells you the setting, the time of day, the location, etc. That gives us the information. And then people start entering that scene, moving around. Physical movement communicates a lot. And then they start talking. And this is where we get all of the major information. A play builds on conflict, uh, information, discoveries through exposition. It builds and then it reaches a point and then it subsides. There is a structure to a play that we will talk about. In addition to talking about theater as being a living art form, Aristotle wrote a paper, a treatise called Poetics. And in Poetics, he outlines everything that we need to know about the structure of a play, or the structure of what he refers to as dramatic action. Action. Dramatic action, according to Aristotle, is organized on 6 levels: plot, character, thought, diction, music, and spectacle. Starting with plot. The plot of a play is the story. In a play, in theater, in drama, there are 2 types of plot structures. The first and the most common is the episodic plot structure. Excuse me. The first and the most common is the climactic plot structure. A climactic plot is linear. In other words, the action moves in a logical sequence. A happens, causing B to happen, causing C to happen, building to a climax, which is the point of highest intensity. In the climactic plot structure, the play begins. This is referred to as the point of attack. And then characters start talking and we receive information. This is called exposition. Exposition is the setting forth of information important to the plot. We receive this information at some point. That information leads us to the inciting incident. This is at the point that actually starts the plot in motion. Excuse me. We will see in Oedipus Rex, for example, Oedipus is challenged to solve a murder, find out who murdered King Laius. Oedipus accepts the challenge to find it, and in accepting it, he starts the plot in motion. Everything that happens from that point forward is about Oedipus trying to find out who murdered King Laius. That is the inciting incident. We move forward in our quest, moving upward, which is called the rising action. The first part of the play is the rising action, the beginning. So we've got the point of attack, exposition, the inciting incident. We're going to experience discoveries, more information that's a little weightier than the general information we get between characters. That's going to affect the movement toward what is the point of highest intensity, the climax. This ends the rising action. The climax is the peak of the rising action. From there, things have to subside or resolve. The resolution part of the play is called the falling action. This is all to refer to the French term denouement. So, resolution. This will eventually lead us to the conclusion. I'm going to stop there. I'll be right back.